Hey everyone, Marcel back with the Pulse. I've got a big update today. The judge has ordered the pause of the case against the FDA, which NPA and FDA agreed to do. They submitted a request to the judge, and a judge has approved their request as of yesterday. He signed the order, so NMN remains on the market at least until July 31st, 2025. I've reported that here. I predicted that the judge would rule to approve the request for the stay or the pause. So this is great news. So I'll speak about this topic a little bit more, but I also want to tell you, any of you out there looking for a personal update, I'm going to include that in the end of this video because I don't want to just cover the political part of it, especially now that we've achieved victory for NMN, at least for the time being. And for me, it's important to kind of get back to what it is I'm doing, which is using this channel to report my own personal progress from my own protocol of NMN supplements and exercise, et cetera, et cetera. So those of you, by the way, who have been unsubscribed, please check your subscription status and click the bell for notification all if that's what you want, if you intend to see this content regularly. The reason I say that is because others have reported that they were unsubscribed by YouTube for some reason. This isn't exclusive to this channel or this genre of supplements. I've been getting content in my feed ever since I brought this up in my last video. This is how closely the algorithm watches what you're watching. And it's been showing me other channels who have had an unsubscribe issue. So where their subscribers were suddenly unsubscribed by the algorithm and didn't want to be. And they left comments, as some of you have done here. Hey, I was subscribed, I was watching your content, always watch it, and suddenly I'm not getting anything, and I checked the status, and I'm now unsubscribed. So those of you that want to keep getting these updates and getting this content, please do check your subscription status, and we'll just keep doing the best we can with all of this. Now, one of the things I'd like to do is to try to get NPA or somebody, maybe even somebody out there, if there are any people who don't mind writing to LegitScript, and forward them the articles from Natural Products Insider. I'm going to include the new article that posted yesterday that talks about the judge agreeing with the order. And there's some other updated information there. But now we need to lobby LegitScript to remove NMN, at least for now, off of their unapproved substance list, because currently NMN can be sold in the US per the FDA. So what happens is we talk about these YouTube issues. YouTube follows that database published by LegitScript, and we need to lobby LegitScript to get the social media platforms, at least YouTube, which others don't, like Facebook doesn't follow LegitScript. TikTok doesn't follow LegitScript. X doesn't follow LegitScript. It's only, as far as my knowledge, from the big social media groups, it's only Google, YouTube. But what that database also does is cause Amazon to remove NMN. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Amazon adds NMN back, or if they do at all, to their platform, because they're kind of the bellwether in all of this, right? They were the ones that dropped NAC, and then when NAC got enforcement discretion, Amazon put it back up. Now, I know what some of you, many of you in this group, in this audience are thinking, oh, there's fake supplements up there. Listen, I will continue to say don't buy your supplements there, but the fact of the matter is many people do. And it is a bellwether, and it's also something that the industry points to, FDA points to, the media points to, and says, oh, it was removed, therefore bad. So it's an indicator of the status of the legality of something. And that can cause YouTube and Google to not want to approve ads or not want to show content that talk about a substance that is not even available at Amazon. You see where I'm going there. Now, the judge didn't stop there. He did address the request from Biotech to join the lawsuit. And I don't know why they didn't do this sooner. They must have some information that things aren't going well. Imagine you're waiting for the FDA to take action, and the FDA says, well, we're going to wait another 9 months before we even respond. Like, that is setting off alarm bells at Biotech. So I don't think Metro Biotech will be allowed, but we'll see. If the judge is going to let them join this or not, the judge may say, as I think he probably will, you need to start your own lawsuit. Wait and see how this goes and then sue the FDA if you don't like the outcome. But we'll see if it goes down that way because, again, this is for legal minds to decide, and even they're going to wait and hear from the judge. But the judge did say that MPA needs to respond to Metro's request by November 13th. So everything is really getting tight now. We've got the election next week, and then another 8 days later, MPA has to respond to their request, and then Metro has 1 week to respond to the NPA's position on this. So the timeline is really shrunk down. It seems like the judge has an idea where he's going to lean on this because he gave them very little time to put together their arguments and back and forth and just sort of either approve this, either he's decided, okay, I'm going to approve this, let's go through the movements here, let's go through the motions, or no way, I'm not going to approve this pharmaceutical company to join a lawsuit with the FDA. But we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how this goes. I think it's going to add too much complication, but again, we'll see how it goes. Some of you have said, I don't want to watch your content anymore. I'm gone because I said some things about preparing for what I think may be inevitable next week. Now, whoever wins, wins. And we're going to have to make the most out of that situation. And I remain unbiased. I'm in the middle. But I am preparing for the side I think will win. I think that's prudent. I think there's a lot of that going on. I think FDA is preparing, Metro Biotech's preparing in their realms, like where they think things are going to go. And I think that this election is going to drive natural ingredients, the availability of supplements, the shaping of the FDA going forward. It's all going to evolve based on the outcome next week. So there's a lot to watch right now, a lot to report on. Yes, NMN remains on the market until next summer. I don't think anything Metro does is going to change that. The judge has already said the lawsuit is paused till next year. So Metro's got to be sitting there no matter what. They're going to say, well, we can, even if they can join the lawsuit, they can't even do anything until next July when NMN is a much bigger market, a much bigger product in the United States than it is already. And people like me out there saying, yes, go back. It's safe to sell NMN. It's legal. Go and do it. And then 9 months later, they're going to try and stop it again. It just seems very difficult to do. Now, I promised you a personal update. Basically, I talked about doing, over the past couple of years, a lot of things. I'm ambitious. I've shared a lot of things with you. I've talked about a music project, going back to Argentina, and I've said many times, even though you haven't seen a lot of action, that that's still in the works. Well, if my voice sounds a little rough today, it's because I've been singing new tracks, writing. This is always a very productive time of year for me. When I get to the fall, I start getting new song ideas. Somebody else, another viewer said, oh, you too? So it happens to other people too. So I've been very busy with that stuff lately. But I haven't. It's been on the side. It's been pushed aside in lieu of the fact that I've been so busy with tennis over the summer. I'm still busy with tennis. So my personal update is that I'm multitasking much better now. I'm getting more music done. I'm getting tennis done. Tennis is a 5-day-a-week project between myself and my sons. And I'm not always playing, but I was at the courts 14 hours on Sunday, and I was at the courts about 10 hours on Saturday at least. And that's just being there, supporting my sons, getting worn out, but I've been going 7 days a week. And thank you, NMN, for giving me the energy and the drive to keep going. Plus, I've been working on music. So I'll put the earbuds in, I'll watch them play tennis, I'll check my mixes or my rough mixes. And yesterday, I had finished some vocals on a song and finally sent something off to the mix engineer in LA, Justin Gariano, who's worked on with a number of huge artists, but he loves 80s music. So he's the perfect guy to mix this stuff and get the sound that I want. I've sent him a track. I've got another one pretty much written now that I need to retrack vocals. I'll show you guys a little tech stuff. Some of you are interested in tech stuff, right? This is a microphone. It's a Shure SM7B. It's a dynamic microphone, meaning that with my kids and my wife and my cat, making noise throughout the house. If I had what's called a very sensitive condenser microphone, which most people use in a studio, it would pick up everything in the background as well. And dynamics are very good at isolation. They're very good at directional recording. And that's why so many people use this specific microphone for voice work, for videos. You see this all the time. But what you normally don't see is people removing that pop filter. This is a wind filter or pop filter. Now you will hear that my voice sounds suddenly clearer. And my mix engineer said to me, hey, remove your pop filter. We also changed a couple things on the front end. I have a new mic preamp, a dedicated mic preamp, and what's called a cloud lifter, which is just this little box that you connect between the mic and the mic preamp. And it just does this trick where it sounds more like an expensive studio microphone. So that's what we're going through now. Some of you that are already listening to the sound, because some people do say when things change, oh, I heard the sound change, may have already noticed things were a little different, but that is certainly different. Now I'm going to keep that on for visual reasons. And also I think it adds a smoothness to the voice, which is good for voiceover work. But when I start singing, I've been every day taking that filter off and sort of working with my technique not to sing directly down at the capsule so I don't get that plosive, that explosion every time the wind comes out. You kind of have to do it over the microphone. So I've been absorbing all of that, working on finishing writing a bunch of songs. I'm really good at writing a verse and a chorus and stopping and just sort of, brewing on that for a while. And so oftentimes I have to come back months later and write a second verse, which is kind of awkward. A better way would be to write the whole thing, I know. And sometimes it comes that way, but sometimes I just have to stop, absorb what I have, and then by the time I get back to it, I have to write. Well, I've been in a good writing phase now, and that's going well. So tennis hasn't suffered. I'm still reporting on NMN and following the situation with MPA, and I'm working on music. And we'll see if this Netflix thing really does come together, because they've expressed interest in covering the story about going back to Argentina with new music now almost 40 years later, or 35 years later, which, as I said, they've expressed some interest to a producer who works at Telemundo. It would at least be for the Spanish-speaking Netflix, but I'll be doing my interviews in English, so we'll try to get that released in the English side as well, if that all goes through. We don't have the documents yet, we don't have the agreement, but we have a verbal interest, and that's what I need to be putting together. So I have a lot of stuff beyond this channel, beyond tennis, and beyond just finishing the music. I just think it makes sense to finish the music before I start on that storytelling part of it, to kind of re-deliver music back. It'd be nice to have that album done in advance and mixed and mastered in LA. So that is all in the works. I'm excited to report more on that. I will start shifting into that side of things and sharing that side of things with you, because there are videos, there's a lot of promotional stuff to be done with that. And it all is reflective of how I'm doing with NMN, how I'm using that newfound energy and applying it to something that was a back burner dream for so long. So thanks for humoring me and listening to that update. And thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing, and thanks for sticking in there. I'll talk to you guys real soon.